In Greek mythology, the Titanomachy was a war that lasted 10 years between the Titans and the Olympian gods. It consisted of a series of battles fought in Thessaly. The purpose of the war was to decide who would rule the universe, the reigning Titans, or the new gods led by Zeus. The war ended with the victory of the Olympians, the younger generation of gods. Welcome to Legends in the Shadows channel. The main account of the Titanomachy that has survived through the ages is Hesiod's Theogony. The poems of Orpheus also mention the Titanomachy, but these details differ from Hesiod's narrative. Who were the Titans? The Titans were the offspring of the primordial gods Uranus, personification of heaven, and Gaia, personification of earth. As mentioned in Hesiod's Theogony, there were originally 12 Titans. They were Oceanus, father of the Oceanids and river gods; Coeus, god of the inquisitive mind; Crius, god of the heavenly constellations; Hyperion, god of heavenly light; Iapetus, personification of mortality or craftsmanship; Cronus, king of the Titans and god of time; Themis, personification of law, fairness and divine order; Rhea, goddess of motherhood, fertility, ease and comfort; Thea, giantess, goddess of sight; Mnemosyne, personification of memory; Phoebe, goddess of divine wisdom and prophecy; Tethys, goddess of fresh water nourishing the earth. The original 12 Titans were known as the first generation Titans. These were the first generation Titans who fought against the Olympians in the Titanomachy. Who were the Olympians? Like the Titans, there were 12 Olympian gods who became the most important deities of the Greek pantheon. Zeus, god of the sky, who became supreme god after winning the Titanomachy. Hera, goddess of marriage and family. Athena, goddess of wisdom and battle strategy. Apollo, god of light. Poseidon, god of the seas. Ares, god of war. Artemis, Apollo's twin sister and goddess of the hunt. Demeter, personification of harvest, fertility, and grain. Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. Dionysus, god of wine. Hermes, messenger god. Hephaestus, god of fire. The list of the 12 Olympians can vary, sometimes replacing Dionysus with Heracles, Hestia, or Leto. Before the Titanomachy. Before the Titans, the universe was ruled solely by Uranus. He was one of the protogenoi, the first immortal beings to exist. Uranus was insecure about his position as ruler of the universe and feared that someone would one day overthrow him and take his place on the throne. As a result, Uranus imprisoned everyone who could be a threat to him: his own children, the Cyclopes, one-eyed giants, and the Hecatonchyres, 3 incredibly strong and fierce giants who each had 100 arms. Uranus imprisoned them all in the belly of the earth. Gaia, wife of Uranus and mother of the Hecatonchyres and the Cyclopes, was angry that he had locked up their children. She wanted revenge on her husband and began plotting with another group of her children, known as the Titans. Gaia created a large sickle and convinced her sons to castrate their father with it. Although they agreed, only one son was willing to do so, the youngest son Cronus. Cronus bravely took the sickle and ambushed his father. Cronus used the sickle against Uranus, cutting off his genitals and throwing them into the sea. He then became the new ruler of the universe and king of the Titans. Uranus lost most of his powers and had no choice but to return to the heavens. While doing so, she prophesied that Cronus would one day be overthrown by his own son, just as Uranus himself had been overthrown. It was Gaia who made this prophecy come true when she realized that Cronus had no intention of releasing the Cyclopes or the Hecatonchyres and plotted against him. Cronus' children included Hera, Hestia, Hades, Demeter, Poseidon, and the youngest, Zeus. To prevent the prophecy from coming true, Cronus swallowed all of his children. However, his wife Rhea tricked him and wrapped a rock in a blanket, convincing him that it was his youngest son, Zeus. Rhea and Gaia then hid Zeus in a cave on Mount Ida, located on the island of Crete, and kept him safe from danger. The return of Zeus. Zeus remained in Crete and was raised by the goat nurse Amlathea until he reached maturity. Then, he decided that the time was right to return and overthrow Cronus. Gaia and Rhea gave him their full support. They created a drink made of wine and mustard that would make Cronus spit up the children. When Cronus drank it, he vomited so much that all 5 children and the stone he had swallowed came out. Zeus' 5 siblings joined him, and together they went to Mount Olympus, where Zeus called an assembly of the gods. He declared that any god who sided with him would gain benefits, but anyone who opposed would lose everything. He sent his sisters Hestia, Demeter, and Hera to a safe place so they wouldn't be caught in the middle of the upcoming war, and then he led his brothers and the other Olympian gods in rebellion against the Titans. In some versions of the story, Zeus' sisters stayed with their brother and fought alongside him in the war. Titanomachy. Cronus, Hyperion, Iapetus, Crius, Coeus, Atlas, Menoetius, and 2 of Iapetus' sons were the main characters who fought on the side of the Titans. Iapetus and Menoetius were famous for their ferocity, but it was Atlas who eventually became the leader on the battlefield. However, not all of the Titans fought in the war, as some were warned of its outcome beforehand. These Titans, such as Themis and Prometheus, allied themselves with Zeus instead. Zeus released his half-siblings, the Cyclopes and the Hecatan chairs, from where Cronus had imprisoned them, and they became his allies. The Cyclopes were skilled craftsmen and created Zeus' iconic lightning bolts, a powerful trident for Poseidon, and a helmet of invisibility for Hades. He also created other weapons for the rest of the Olympians, while the Hecatonchires used their many hands to hurl stones at the enemy. Meanwhile, the Titans had also strengthened their forces. Both sides were on equal footing, and the war continued for several years. However, Zeus now had the support and guidance of Nike, the goddess of victory. With her help, Zeus struck Menoetius with his fatal lightning bolt, sending him straight into the depths of Tartarus, effectively ending the war. After the war, Zeus imprisoned all the Titans who fought against him in Tartarus, a dungeon of pain and suffering guarded by the Hecatonchires. However, according to some sources, Zeus freed all the imprisoned Titans once his position as ruler of the universe was secure. All the female Titans were freed because they had taken no part in the war, and all of Zeus' allies were handsomely rewarded for their services. The Titan Atlas was given the job of holding up the heavens, which was his punishment forever. After the war, the Cyclopes continued to work as craftsmen for the Olympian gods and had their furnaces on Mount Olympus as well as beneath the volcanoes. Zeus and his brothers, Poseidon and Hades, drew lots and divided the world into different spheres. Zeus' sphere was the sky and air, and he became the supreme god. Poseidon was given authority over the sea and all water bodies, while Hades became the ruler of the underworld. The earth, however, remained common land for the other Olympian gods, where they could act as they wished. If there was a conflict, the 3 brothers, Zeus, Hades and Poseidon, were called upon to resolve the problem. Once Zeus became the supreme god of the universe, he asked Themis and Prometheus to create humans and animals to repopulate the earth. According to some accounts, Prometheus created humans while Themis was responsible for creating the animals. As a result, the earth, which had become barren and dead during the war, began to flourish again. What does the Titanomachy symbolize? The Titans represented the former gods of the pre-Olympian order, who ruled the universe before the new gods came. Historians speculated that the Titans may have been the older gods of an indigenous group of people of ancient Greece. However, this is no longer accepted. Instead, it is believed that the mythology of the Titans may have been borrowed from the Near East. They became the backstory to explain the arrival and victory of the Olympians. In this view, the Titanomachy symbolize the Olympian strength, power, and victory over all other gods. It also represents the defeat of the old and the birth of the new.